Hey YouTube, this is Ozark Prepper 1, and today I got some information. Maybe the same information is out there, I'm sure it is. Things seem to be really speeding up. It's like they have a timeline where they want to get that needle in as many people as possible before a certain date. Like they know something's coming that's not good for them. And it looks to me like it's almost a panic mode on their end, and they're trying to project it onto us, the people. Blackberries. So what I would do is pay attention and say your things that you have, that you defend your home with. If you have a whole lot of those things, don't keep all of them in your home, because the way brown shirts operate, and that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with communist brown shirts. They don't just have one night like the old days where they just go out after one person, after the whole herd of people in the whole country, like say Germany did, or the Bolsheviks in Russia in the 1905 or whenever that happened. But in America, they do it a little different. They single out people and they pick them off. You know, one guy in this state, one guy in this state, and one guy in this state, in this county, and this county. And then they write them off, say, oh, this guy was dangerous, he had an arsenal. And if you add all that up, they may have taken out 10, 20,000 people by doing that. And those people are sitting in jails, or they have lost their cachet, put it that way. Their things they worked for, and now they have a criminal record, so they can't buy anything anymore. You know, they got to rely on friends or have a secret stash somewhere. So keep one effective tool in your home, but keep a lot more effective tools hidden elsewhere. Even if you live in a city, you can still do it. All kinds of places. You know your yard better than everyone else. You know every nook and cranny of your yard. And when they go doing things, it's a big planet, it's a big country, and you live in a big city. You live in a big area, you know. So they're not going to comb every inch of your yard. Say, even if there's a place that's not your yard, you might have a vacant property next to your yard. Nobody pays attention. Probably wouldn't notice you digging a hole right in that yard real close to your property line. Put you something down in there to keep out of the weather. And if you ever need it for a rainy day, it'd be there. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do. And people have done that throughout the ages. They've done it through all the world wars in Europe and in the Middle East. We found that out when we went over there. Vietnam. Every time they thought they had Vietnam pushed down, all of a sudden they'd just come out of the hole, all these people with all these weapons. No. So, I mean, they were still fed too. They had food in those holes. They had food down in those tunnels and stuff. But you can do little things like that nonchalantly. And, you know, you could put a little cross there with a pet's name on it. Put Rover, Fido, And you could have something in that. I didn't do that because I wouldn't say it on YouTube that I did. But just little ideas, you know, because people have to be prepared for a future that it's uncertain. And don't stress on it, because when you stress on it, you might be in your vehicle driving to the store, driving to town, you'd be stressing about something, and your mind will envision something when you're supposed to be looking at the road, and then that's how people crash. So don't let it overwhelm you. Just take those necessary steps. And like I said, if I was the average guy and had a lot of stuff, which I don't, but I wouldn't keep it all in one area. I wouldn't keep it all in your house. Because, you know, there's other things that could happen. You could have bad wiring in your house that you don't know about. You know, come home and your place burnt to the ground because of bad wiring or something. And you lose everything you worked for. And you got to start over again. Because it's something you probably couldn't tell your insurance company, if you even can afford it anymore. So I would take some things and put them in little hiding spots here and there, or wherever the place you plan on going to. If you got a little place about a few miles away from where you're at or something, you have some holes there dug. And when you do that, don't take your phone with you. Not to the exact spot. Anyway. There's a lot of activity right now. And who knows, maybe good things are happening that we don't see. Which I do believe there's some good things happening that we don't see. Not everybody's a bad person. I think we got about a 50-50 thing in this world. We got 50% bad people and 50% good people. There's a lot of bad people. You can tell who they are. They cover their face. They walk around with a mask on all the time. Those are shit stains on our society. If they're still buying into all that, then I got no use for them. Right now, as I'm talking to you, there's a fighter jet flying above me. They've been really busy. Can't see it. I still don't think there's going to be something just kick off. I think they're trying to grind us. Trying to exclude people from things, from participating in life. You know, if you don't have this, then you can't come in here. That sort of thing. And try to deny people basic things that we've always taken for granted. Don't play their game. Don't participate. I bet you my buddy's up here. He's up here every day in the summertime. He likes this place. This is where he was born at. About 20 years ago. So let's walk up and say hi. Looks like he's got flies on him. Time for spray. Let's see if there's been any activity here. Oh yes. Looks like the vinegar took its hold here too. This looks like a hangout. See, there's a little pond over there. That pond has been there about 40 years. Sounds like a bullfrog in it. A lot of people have been receiving letters from the Department of Agriculture. People who never received them before, asking them if their property is fertile. Can they grow things on it? Is it capable of growing crops? And I received one, and a lot of my neighbors did too. And I threw them in the trash because that's none of their business. This is private. That's the cool thing about America. This is private. Private land ownership. This isn't public. So I will continue to throw anything in the trash I receive that's like that, because that's nobody's business but mine. That violates one of our amendments. There's no way they could ever mandate me answering that question. Another good thing, if you don't have a copy of the United States Constitution, you should probably order one. And get a copy of the old one where it looks just like the original. The original cursive writing and everything. Get that, and then get a printed copy so you can read it really quick. And learn what your rights are, because they don't want you to know what they are. Our founding fathers were genius. I mean, they were really smart individuals. Here we are. We have people in their 60s, 50s, and 60s. They can't name any politician because they don't know what's going on. All they know is the TV said something's going on, you know. But they don't know reality. They just know what they're told and they do what they're told. But they don't want you to know your rights. Founding fathers were teenagers and in their early 20s when they come up with all the laws that made us prosperous and stress-free compared to a lot of the other nations of the world. You didn't have the hammer of the crown coming down on you all the time. You know, you got people in Canada, New Zealand, Australia, a couple other dumps. You see the island of Fiji, their leader speaking today, telling his people you can't buy or sell or go to work or anything unless you get a needle in you. That guy deserves to hang off a bridge. You know, if it would have been the 1800s, just imagine what they'd do to that guy. But maybe those people are not well informed, because he's violating a Nuremberg law by mandating anything on his people. So hopefully they get that lined out over there. And whoever that leader is of New Zealand, why is she still there? Or he, whatever it is. Telling her people you can't do this unless you have that. And we're seeing it all over the world. In any place it's a liberal, socialist, communist dump. These people are pathetic, and they need removed. Americans are sitting idly by right now. You know, they're fighting a good fight. But I think when push comes to shove, I think the powers that be know it's not a good idea to push too much. I'm surprised they've gotten away with what they have so far. You know, it's just a matter of time before we hear that round heard around the world. I think that's what they call it. It'll be one of these days, it'll be what they call go time or whatever. But then again, I've met a lot of people and talked to them. They don't even have a clue what's going on. And they probably never will. All they care about is getting some shiny wheels for their car and playing video games. Or they got to fix up their house because they think they have a future in it. Or they got to do some kind of crap in their yard. It doesn't matter. Just like those idiots that put up $1,000 worth of Christmas lights every year. Did you know the words holy moly came from devil worshippers, Luciferians? Moly is short for Moloch. We used to hear that, I believe, in the Three Stooges and some other shows. The people in the 20s said it a lot. From the 1920s on up. You know, they said it throughout that period of time. And I believe it was probably coined in Hollywood. Who knows? They probably stood in front of that big old owl out there and come up with that word when they bowed down to it. But, yeah, we live in strange times. And you younger people, they're teenagers, you know, and early 20s, you'll have that moment in your life where you're walking through your town and you bump into an older individual and he'll tell you stuff now and you're going to say, that guy's a nut job. And then you'll get older and it'll dawn on you that guy was accurate. And then you'll wish, man, I wish I would have got to talk to that guy some more and learn some more stuff. And I'd have been way more ahead of the game. You know what happened to me when I was young? I got to meet a guy that was a Special Forces. And I think it was in the early part of Vietnam he was over there. But he told me things then. And I was like, wow, this guy's far out there. Because he turned into kind of a hippie guy as he got older. And everything that guy told me then has came true now. You know, I've talked to other older people, and they were older than me then, you know. These people are 20, 30 years older than I am. And these guys are deceased now. But they told me a lot of stuff that blew my mind, you know. Like this one guy was big into prophecies. He was big into all the old, say the prophets of the Bible, but also the prophets of later on, like Nostradamus, Malachi, and Mother Shipton. You know, there's all different kinds of them. There's a famous Russian one too. I used to remember all their names. But he said something about, this was during the Desert Storm, and that's how long ago this was. He said, there'll be a bird that leaves, lays its eggs, and comes back all the way around the world. And that was back in the time we had two, was it the B-52 or the Nighthawk, or one of those jets can leave right here and fly all the way around the world and do its business and come on back without refueling. And that's what he was referring to. And he told me that back then. And I was like, no way, dude. But then you look back, sounds about right. And for him to even connect those two things would make him a pretty much a clairvoyant, I guess that's what they'd call it. Somebody who can see what's going on and connect the dots. Nobody does that anymore. Everybody's got a two-dimensional mind. They don't see anything. Isn't it weird how we live on this planet? We got this nature around us. And it all seems to be here and it fits. Everything works together. You know, this maple tree, it works with this cedar. The cedar is shading that evening sun off that maple, and that maple's coming up. And it's not getting overcooked by the sun in the evening time. That's south. It's amazing how that works. The maple knew to pop up right there. Because if it would have came out, say right here, the sun probably would cook it. You get on the other side of these trees. Let me show you. I know I'm getting off topic, but this stuff's neat. There's some kind of either hawthorn or whatever tree it is. And they're the same way. They can't handle the sun out in the open like that. You know, we've got there's an oak popping up underneath a cedar, blocked from the evening sun. You know, you see a lot of that. But what I'm getting at is all this stuff fits in place. Even the animals, they run and do their thing, and they work with each other. You know, one animal might eat another animal, but then something eats that animal too. And then if that bigger animal eats the smaller animal too much, finally an animal bigger than it will eat it until it's out of the way. Then the smaller animals repopulate again. And then the mid-size, they repopulate again. And then here comes a big guy again, eats that one. And the cycle continues. But with man, we seem out of place. Like we're not of this world. And biblically it says that we're not of this world. You know, you look at this. Some guy years ago cleared this field. Animals don't do that. We have to wipe out nature to survive. You know, not the animals. We got to wipe out the animals and the trees. We got to pollute the water. Because we don't have anything higher up on the food chain than us is somebody who is us that's evil. We are our own worst enemy. We have the tools. We have the power to educate our own youngsters and our peers, people of our own age, to say, hey, if you can't afford it, don't do it, you know. But nobody does that. They just say, buy, consume, you need this. This will make you feel better. And nature pays the price. Nature pays the price. Because you say, I want to buy this. It gets shipped on a pallet. Pallets are made out of wood. They just hack trees down and turn them into pallets. And they'll come in and waste a whole hillside. And then some douchebag drives by and says, I'd like to put a house there. And then you have a house there, and that place never returns to normal. And people just keep spreading out, keep ruining everything. Not trying to sound like the elites or anything, but that is a reality. I know I've jumped off a lot of topics this morning, but that's what happens when you got a form of Asperger's. We do that. Store up information and let it loose when we don't need to. But anyway, that was a long enough walk for today. Hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Ozark Prepper 1 out.